Board of Health, Tuesday, April 27th. This meeting is being recorded. It is not being done live, but it'll be on YouTube tomorrow. Apparently there's another meeting that's being recorded live. So at 7 o'clock, we're going to start. And before I start, due to the current COVID crisis, since Governor Baker's orders suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, this meeting of the Sutton Board of Health will be held remotely via Zoom. The meeting will be broadcast, as I said, tomorrow. Pursuant to Chapter 30, Section 20, no person shall address a meeting of the public body without permission of the chair. Individuals who would like to participate should state their name and address after being recognized by the chairperson. In an effort to ensure transparency to our viewers, the chat function will not be available. Okay, first item on our list is the YMCA. That's all I got.
I guess that's us. So
Yep.
Pam Supernat, Senior Executive Director of the Central Community Branch in Worcester, and we own a property at 208 Manchog Road in Sutton. And we're looking to talk about a timeline for opening camp this summer.
Okay, Cheryl?
Yeah, so I had just gotten, Pam and I had emailed back and forth a little bit. We do get some updated guidance for recreational camps and programs and health and safety standards for reopening. And I actually thought that there were going to be some new or some changes in the guidance at a meeting that we had last week, which was an update from the Community Sanitation Division. Basically, there wasn't. But also today, which I'll just segue into it just vaguely, is that the governor announced a different lifting of mandates and things like that. So a little bit of just ongoing changes of fluid reopening plans, things like that. But as far as that, I didn't know what staffing issues that may be arising, what the plans are for the camp, changes in regards to the new guidance that has come along in the past month or so. Pam or Dave, if anybody wants to address that.
We're familiar and following the guidance from the state. We've been doing emergency childcare since last March, and then we've been doing remote learning with children at the Y, not in school. Worcester is still not back in school. So we are very familiar with DPH guidance. And quite frankly, even if the governor loosens things up, our CEO is not of the mind to loosen things up. I know we can have a mask outside if you're vaccinated, all of these things. It's not really what we're about. So we're definitely following the regs that were out, I think, about a month ago. Our big questions for you: last year, Jim Philbrook from Charlton was giving you some support in relation to licensing, and he created 2 policies that were not in the regulations. They were beyond the minimum requirement. So he said no transportation, and he also said that the healthcare supervisors that we've had in the past could not be according to the regulation. They had to be a nurse or an EMT. So as I prepare for camp, I need to understand if we're following the regs that DPH gave, or if the town of Sutton is going to also have those requirements as well.
As far as the busing goes, I know the guidance has changed a little bit on that. I would work with you with that. But as far as the healthcare supervisor, I would definitely recommend, still in the light of the pandemic, to have a medical person, either an EMT or a nurse, on board.
We are 100% in agreement. And transportation, they say 3 feet with a mask or 6 feet without. We're actually not allowing children on the bus without masks. So we will follow very strict guidance. We're only going to have one bus and we're going to keep it in a stable cohort. I can put all of that in our COVID procedures for you. And we will, he wanted 2 nurses at all times. We're going to have, we typically have 150 kids at camp. We're looking to only have 80 to 100 this summer, even though space allows it. We don't want to squish a lot of kids in all of that space. So do you want us to have 1 EMT or 2?
Let me give that some thought, only because I know what he was requesting last time and it really didn't end up, due to only had 6 people at camp at the very last week of camp. So let me just give that a little bit of thought, and also at some point in time speak with you regarding the policies, the COVID policies in particular, that will be kind of enforced this year with, you know, a lot of things opening up and things like that, as far as COVID restrictions being released a little bit more.
Sure. So for me, it's really all about the timeline. We can't necessarily register children unless we have the license, and we don't want to butt up against June and trying to open camp at the end of June. Dave is working to get the fire inspection, the building inspection, so that we can have those for you before a physical walkthrough. I know you typically like to have the binder beforehand. So when would you like the binder, and when can we schedule a physical visit from you?
So as far as the binder goes, whenever it's ready with all your policies, included the new updated policies that the state had put out,
Yep.
that, but also the fact that your staffing, that seems to be, I know your staffing is tight, that you don't, that's a big key piece also as far as the training according to the guidance and the documentation that needs to be done. So that is a very key piece. And I know that's pretty tight with your hiring and inspections and things like that. So we can talk about that offline, but I didn't know, you know, how you're doing with your staffing, things like that. I know you use your vouchers an awful lot for your programs, but I will say that I know DPH is going to be very strict with inspections this year as far as camps. So I just want to make sure that we're all, you know, that we all work together and that we can achieve a very common goal. Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Have any questions, Dave?
No, I have the fire department coming tomorrow for inspection. I am applying through, you know, with John on the building inspector online. We're reopening the small shack by the dining hall because we spent last fall rebuilding it and putting a little deck on the front of the office. So I'm pulling permits for those. You know, I'm a licensed contractor, so I'm spearheading the work, and so I'm working with John on getting inspections going with the fire. I'll be there tomorrow. Fire extinguishers have already been serviced, so we're not even into May, so we're doing well.
Great. So we're allowed to start hiring on May 10th with restrictions related to PPP and other things in terms of our financial health. So on May 10th, we'll do all of the hiring and training and certainly be ready to go before June. We're not concerned about the child to staff ratio or being able to get enough staff. Like I said, we're going to have half the amount of kids that we typically have at Camp Blanchard. So we're not concerned that we won't have enough staff.
And what are the dates you plan on opening for camp this year?
It's the last Monday in June. It is, even though school in Worcester gets out June 15th, I'm just checking your calendar. We're not going to start. We're going to give ourselves another week, June 28th, and we're going to go through August 27th, which is 9 weeks of camp.
Okay.
Great. So I'll be in touch about the binder and then the timeline for the rest of the visits.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, just one other little thing. Whitewater is coming to do a pre-water test very shortly. Does that go to the same address that it did previous years, or is there a different address that test should go to?
To the town hall, you mean? Is
Yeah,
that-
it
Yeah.
always went to the Board of Health, BOH.
Yep.
That's fine, okay.
Yeah. Plus you also send it to the state also?
Excuse me?
Do you also send it to the state?
I'll check with Whitewater. On what
Yeah.
to do. Is there an address to the state?
It's usually emailed.
Right.
What's that?
Okay,
Thanks.
sorry to,
Oh, okay. Dave, Judy had mentioned to me that she had sent instructions to Teresa.
okay. I'll double back on that.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good meeting.
Thank you.
Yep, bye-bye.
Number 3, local upgrades and variances, none. And then right under that, it says local upgrades review only, 34 Heritage Road. Stephen?
Yeah, that was 34 Heritage Road, which is a septic repair. I believe that was just a separation to groundwater they needed for gravity system on that design. So I approved that.
Okay.
I didn't see any issues with that.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Cool.
Department update.
Okay, as you heard when I was talking to Pam about the new reopening guidelines that the state had passed out regarding staffing, operations, and as well as the different policies have, the cohort size, how they have to be, things like that. She did say she was cutting down on her ratio from 150 to 80 to 100. I still want to see how that's going to work with inclement weather and or sick kids. So that's my only concern. But they also have, cleaning, disinfecting and things like that, activity limitations, and definitely as far as training, as far as staff goes for any type of screening for illness and things like that. I do think it's important to have a medical person on staff. May not be true, but I haven't really given it a lot of thought. I don't know how that will one person could handle all those people, given a couple of circumstances, but I need to think about that though, as far as the camp. Also, I can tell you that tobacco, everybody got the new tobacco regulations that Judy had sent out. Did everybody get a copy of that?
Yep.
They had sent from the state?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Did anybody listen to the governor today about the new changes and requirements? Masks have been no longer for outdoor gathering, things like that. They made a lot of changes starting May 10th. So they're starting to open up large venues and just trying to get back to a little sense of normalcy. So there's a lot of guidance, and that was also sent out to you. As far as a few other things real quickly, as far as on the COVID issue, our case count is pretty steady still. Unfortunately, I need to look at my calendar, 24 out of 26 weeks still in the red. And we had been notified by a news station that would like to do an article or a request to come visit us, and I forwarded off. I am not the public information officer, so I sent it to Jim and also to Bill and things like that. Because we're the only community in South Central Mass that's still red after all these weeks. But what we're doing, we're working very hard. We're working very hard with changes in any guidance. We send them out to the appropriate entity. Also, as far as the COVID clinics are going, we hosted our second dose of COVID shots for senior and affordable housing earlier in April. And we also, we have been working, I've been working at the Oxbridge clinics, and we have been booking people for appointments. So we've really reached out to a lot of people whenever their time has come up, whether it's the teachers, restaurants. Now we were open to anybody. We're going to, 16-year-olds. As a matter of fact, we're going to go into the school, into the high school on the 25th of May to see if there's any of the high schoolers want immunizations. But I have to say that 50% of the high schoolers have at least had one shot. So it says an awful lot for the town. And that also, we have some statistics here that of all the towns surrounding our town, for us being the red community that we are, unfortunately, one positive thing is that we have the highest rate of residents vaccinated. So I think that says a lot. We're really working very hard to try to get everybody vaccinated. I do have a link that we get a link to a clinic, a private clinic, before it goes public in Uxbridge. And so we're trying to, work with people. Judy sent out emails to a lot of establishments to try to get them on board and things like that.
So you said we have the highest percentage of residents vaccinated in this area? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, good. That's
Yep.
How,
Joe, is there any thought to why it's been so much in the red? Is it like been isolated incidents that kind of spike the numbers, or is it?
Yeah, well, right now, I'm getting back to John, we get 51% of our population has had at least one dose. So that's a good number. That's the highest of all the area towns. As far as that, earlier on, maybe a month or so ago, a lot of it had to do with families, clusters, some sports activities, things like that. It's changed a little bit. It's all over the board. There is no, the age population that I'm seeing is teenagers to maybe 45 or 50 tops, but that's the group now that's being affected, and it's all across the board. A couple of clusters that I'm dealing with only because I'm in other towns is that we were seeing some other sports activities that don't fall under school jurisdiction, that have been doing traveling, not socially distancing, not wearing masks, group large gatherings, things like that. But that's just only one case that we've had this since our last meeting.
What's the severity of the illness? Is it asymptomatic, or is it varied?
Yeah, most of them that I've seen for the younger kids tend to seem either asymptomatic or maybe a runny nose. A lot of people thought they just had maybe allergies, headache, nasal congestion, things like that. And then some of it's progressed. I have had nothing significantly serious that I've investigated so far, but the contact tracing, meeting a little bit of resistance again, a little bit. People don't want to open up and talk, say where they've been, who they've been with. So that makes it a little bit of a damper, and we try to encourage them. Everything's confidential, but they don't want to, let us know so we can stop the spread. At least, we'll have the common courtesy to express it to the people they've had contact with. So that's basically about it. Had an outbreak that I'm just finishing dealing with earlier in the couple of weeks ago, but that has gone back to normal right now.
Okay.
That's about COVID. The basketball courts are still closed, and everybody's aware of that. I have spoken to the girl that runs the summer program for the kids, and she's actually an athletic advisor or assistant athletic person at Bryant College, and she fully understands the rationale behind the reason for the court being closed. And I I said, I do want to open it, and she knew the reason why other towns had opened, but, you know, and she also understood the reason why this town still has the courts closed. And I'd like to get them opened, and we keep looking at it every single week. And I was kind of hoping that this week things would be better. But I think people, from what we've seen, a lot of vacationers, so it wasn't a lot of testing done. Now all of a sudden, between yesterday and today, a lot of testing's been done and a lot of positive stuff has come back. So I'm just waiting to see what happens in the next 10 days to 2 weeks to see what happens, because a lot of people have gone out of state. So
You know, the school vacation week, right? Is that what it was?
school vacation week, a lot of traveling down to Florida, a lot of road trips.
Okay.
So
Okay, and that's just the basketball courts at the high school, right? Are there other ones that are open?
yeah, the ones on Huff Road are open.
Okay. All right.
Just basically, I just want to give another update that Judy has been sending out a lot of renewals, and as far as the campgrounds, to the 2 campgrounds, Sutton Falls and Kings. As you know, Old Holbrook has not opened. Are you aware of that? Old Holbrook Campground, the owner had passed away, so that campground, we don't know what's happening with that, but that remains closed at this point. I know DEP has contacted us. We've had a lot of people looking to book there, and we don't know what's going on. Beach permits have gone out, installers and tobacco regs, things like that. So that's basically about it. Couple complaints that we've had. I know I had gone out, and I don't know if, I think maybe Bill, you had gone on a complaint on Singletary Ave. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything when I had gone out, and then I think you went out after me, and also the animal inspector went out, and she did not notice anything. But the complainant called back and said that the surface water runs across the street onto their property, and it's a nuisance from an old factory trespass, whatever that means. He used that.
I don't think it's possible for anything to go from one side of the street to the other, because it's almost like a little curve in the road, and plus on the property where the animals are, there's actually a little bit of a gully there. So so I don't see how that could happen. I've never noticed it. I know that sometimes when it's raining, the water will come down the hill, but not from the property next door. So I don't, I know that that piece of property has been pretty much, no one's been done anything with it as long as I've been in Sutton. And now there's, it seems to be a little bit of activity over there that they put in what looks like a foundation in clearing some land across there. So I don't know. I've never had the farm, with the animals have been there as long as I've been in Sutton, and I haven't ever noticed it to be a problem.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to share that, that's all. And we did get a complaint again today, another complaint today. It's a housing complaint about a next door house on Heritage Road. And that is being addressed through building department as well as ours. So
Why did it come to Board of Health?
she thought it was, the complainant said it was dangerous and the structure was a fire hazard and things like that. And it devalues her property, but we're very well aware of this and it is being remedied. So it's out of our hands. It's in the court hands right now. So.
All right.
One other thing, maybe a week and a half ago, I don't know if anybody's was aware that Market 32 had an issue again with their refrigeration again.
Yeah.
It was down for a period of time. I have to say they kept me in the loop throughout the whole event. They were very proactive and they were able to take everything offline. They have a refrigerated truck and they actually sent in a second refrigerated truck because it lasted longer than they expected. But I guess it's a glycol issue, but they did get it up and running finally. So that was it. That's all I have to say. Does anybody have anything I can answer for them? Any questions? No? Yes, maybe.
Okay.
All right, that's it.
Car wash update, water test.
Oh,
Have it-
car wash update. Car wash update. All right. Judy just said that Steve hasn't been in to look at the results of the water.
I looked at it today. I don't think there was anything out of the ordinary. It seemed like it was under all. It was 19 pages.
Yeah, Huh?
But it's,
it's always 19 pages, Judy said.
yeah. Well, I just did a quick scan of all of it, like what the allowables were, and it seemed to be well under the allowables on everything. There was no notes to anything being off.
Okay.
So you want to move on from that then?
Yeah.
Okay. Approval of the minutes. The minutes were sent out again. This is the second time that they were sent out. And there was January minutes, February minutes, and then March and April of 2020. There were no meetings. So I'd like to, if someone would entertain a motion to approve the minutes or to adjust them if need be. I didn't see anything that stood out to me to be changed, but if anybody else did.
I'll make a motion to accept. It was January and February of 2020, right?
Yeah, and then March and April, we'll accept those as no meeting, no minutes.
So I make a motion to accept the January and February 2020 meetings as written, and then obviously we don't have any February, March, or March and April meeting minutes because there was no meeting.
Anybody will second that?
I'll second.
Okay, anybody want to oppose it? Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
anything that's voted in a Zoom meeting needs to be roll call.
oh, it does?
Yeah,
I'm new at this.
yeah,
10 years.
everything has to be roll call.
Okay, we've never done that before, but that I'm aware of. So for all those in favor, John,
Aye.
yeah. All right, Cheryl,
I don't vote.
Diane,
Yes,
Tammy,
I agree.
Yes.
Judy,
Judy doesn't vote.
okay. Kenny's not with us,
I don't see him.
okay. All right, so is that good enough? I mean, everybody's on now?
That should be fine, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I'll make a note to do that from now on. I just don't remember ever having to do that. And old or new business?
Cheryl, do we have any idea when we'll be doing in-person meetings again?
No, I do think that we're looking to anticipate opening up the town hall next month. So I believe it's going to be May 10th that Jim Smith is looking to open up the town hall. So hopefully maybe for the end of the May meeting, end of May, we should be able to meet in person. But I'll keep people abreast on that.
It will be,
Invite,
oh, I'm sorry. It will be soon. We're guessing probably June.
June,
It's gonna be after town meeting, but
oh, that's right too, I'm sorry.
yeah, so Zoom will still be a part of the meetings. We can have hybrid meetings. So we had the room upstairs retrofitted. So you're gonna have the in-person meeting, but we're also gonna have the Zoom aspect too. So to kind of keep the amount of people in the building, you know, at a minimal. People who aren't comfortable coming in, they can just call in. But we're still kind of working it out, but we're thinking June. It's gonna be after town meeting.
Okay, the town meeting's the 25th.
No,
15th, May 15th.
it's the 15th.
I thought that, oh, the selectmen's meeting is the 25th. There was a reason why we couldn't have our meeting on the regularly scheduled date of
The 25th of May is on town, is the election.
election. Okay, that's what it was. All right,
And will opening of the town hall include the library?
Yes. May 10th, I believe.
Mhm.
okay. Anything else? The fee schedule review.
I made the last adjustments I made, Bill, with the fee study that we have, spreadsheet that you have.
Yep.
Was about within the last week. So I
Yeah.
don't think there's anything else that I would adjust to that.
Okay. Are we gonna try to do the fee, the well, and the Title V all in one public meeting? Are we gonna take it? Because that's what we have to talk about it in our meeting and then agree to it as a board, and then it goes to out to public meeting. Is that how, do we want to do all three of them at once, or do we want to take one at a time? Will we be able to do Title V in the well?
Are you done with the wells?
I haven't spoken to Steve yet. We need to make an appointment to get together here next week or so. And I don't Kenny talk to, I think, Steve about the Title V stuff, but I would think, my personal opinion is, for what it's worth, I think we should wrap it up. I don't think there's gonna be that many changes. And I don't think that the public hearing is gonna, typically, they don't amount to much other than the formality, because typically there's not a lot of discussion at them. The residents don't, usually don't chime in all that much. So, and we have to advertise those as a certain amount of expense, right?
Yeah, it is, absolutely.
That.
Yeah.
So my opinion would be to try to wrap it all up, the fee schedule, the Title V and the well in one public hearing. What I think didn't we have a target date for that at the last meeting? I can't remember what it was. I thought we had a target date for a public hearing, but maybe I'm wrong. I can't remember.
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't recall one either.
So we have the fee schedule down. If we get the well and the Title V by the May meeting, then we can
By the
set
May
that
Absolutely.
in
Yeah.
motion.
Steve, do you have some time over the next week or so to either get together, even if it's on the phone, if you want to meet in person?
Yeah, we can meet in person, John. I don't
look
know.
at the well
problem
regs.
with that. Yeah, for the well rigs. I mean, the Title V regs, I sent Judy the other day a copy of the written regs that I thought should be amended, changed. I went over that and met with Kenny and what I thought. So I discussed that with him.
Right.
And he was in agreement. So I forwarded that over to Judy. So if there were only a few, I think there were like 3 or 4 items that I thought needed to be adjusted.
Okay. Could you, it's been a while since I've looked at the well regs. I've got some notes. I'll have to dig them out about changes that when we looked at this with Jim Melly years ago at this point. We never got to it. But if you could do the same with the well regs, the overall, I think I mentioned this before, I think the overall objection was to minimize and reduce burden to us, the residents, et cetera, on needless stuff, the I dotting and T crossing that we don't need to do.
Yes, I'll review the well regs as far as that's concerned. I know a lot of our supplemental regulations are just also Title V regulations that we've just duplicated in our own.
Is
So
there a
they're
reason to duplicate any of that stuff, or can we just eliminate it? We have to
We
comply
can
with
eliminate it. there's a lot there that are just a Title V that we have in ours, and we can just eliminate them. I mean, it's just duplication. It's just reiterating the same regulations and criteria.
Yeah, in my opinion, I'm just one person with one opinion, but if it's duplication, get rid of it. I don't know how the rest of the board feels.
Yep. Anybody else on that?
I would agree. I mean, if we're looking to simplify and make them more user-friendly, there's no reason to duplicate something.
Right.
Okay, yes.
So sounds good. So you guys will get that finished up, and hopefully we'll be able to go over it all quick and for the May meeting, and then set it forward for the public hearing.
Make a suggestion by the time we bounce this back and forth a few times and make some changes. You want to just set a target date? We'll just try to get this wrapped up, say sometime in September, a public hearing in conjunction with our monthly meeting in September. That'll be kind of after people's vacation times and stuff like that. And we'll be done.
That would seem good to me.
All right. Very good. Okay.
So tentatively for September then.
Okay. Good.
How far in advance do we need to get it out there?
I think it's 14 days of advertising, isn't it?
14 days.
Okay.
We have to advertise it.
All right.
So we need more time before we can get it in the paper for the 14-day window.
Okay. So sometime early August.
So it would have to be wrapped up at the August. Everything would have to be, all changes, everything have to be done at the latest of the August meeting to get 2 weeks of advertising in to have a public hearing and everything done at the end of September. Right. That's reasonable.
Yep. Sounds good. Anything else on that before I move on? Other business not anticipated.
I just had one more question. I know I saw that Judy had sent out a note saying that she had forwarded information regarding the Uxbridge Clinic to, I think, food establishments in town.
Yeah, that's correct.
And so are you posting that like on the Sutton public site? Because it looked like you were making appointments for people.
We have been making appointments for people. We've been pushing it out to all establishments where, well, up until just recently, everybody is now eligible. So it has been put out there if anybody needs assistance with appointments.
But we only have those for a limited amount of time.
But the fact of the matter is that our link that we get is extremely a very short window. So that's why we need the information as quickly as possible if anybody's interested in an appointment. Because we only have the window of opportunity for maybe 6 hours, and that's it. Then the site goes public.
And we don't have the staff.
And so it's Judy and I. So it's just, we do the best to try to accommodate and help people acquire appointments.
And are you getting a lot of people responding to that
Yeah,
so far?
we have. So it's actually taken, this is another layer of part of the COVID stuff that we're doing. That's an additional part of our job that takes us away from doing other day-to-day stuff. But we're doing it because that's how important it is that we were trying to get out of the red just to get people vaccinated and getting back to a sense of normalcy in this town as quickly as possible.
Is there any?
Let me ask, what makes a community a red community? I mean, is it just the number of cases and for gross population, or the infection rate, or what? I'm just curious.
It's the number of positive cases within the population. So it's a statistical base.
So it's a percentage of total population. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
What did you say, Judy?
We worked on Monday.
Yeah. Yeah, just to let everybody know, we've been I worked the Uxbridge Clinic in Upton on Saturdays. I've been doing that probably since the beginning of January. So in addition to working during the week, I do this Uxbridge Clinic in Upton on Saturdays, where we've been taking care of residents and things like that. And Judy and I have been booking people on holidays and coming in and staying late at night just so that we could get people registered when we're able to, when we have access to that link. So,
Well, I know, well, that's good for you. It's a lot of dedication. There's no question about that.
Is that all the same? Is it Pfizer, Moderna? Is any news on Johnson & Johnson as far as any of these or?
there was a day that they had a Johnson & Johnson clinic and the site was open for quite a while. And we went to town and we must have booked about, I don't know, 50 people, friends, families, acquaintances, everybody in town, things like that. And the next day, don't they take it off the market? It's like, oh my gosh. But J&J is back on the market now. But right now, Uxbridge is only using Pfizer.
Okay.
And we've also done homebound. We had a couple of homebound people and they've come out and done those too. So, which is good.
Yeah.
So. If anybody needs vaccines, appointments, or if you know anybody that needs one, is having a hard time booking one, please get a hold of us and we can help them out as much as possible.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? I have the next meeting date is 5/18 to accommodate the elections on the 25th. Is everybody good with that?
Yes. Sorry, my phone.
It's okay.
I'm working, but I might be able to slide my trip around, but just, stick with it. If I can't make it, I'll give you plenty of notice. That way you can make sure you have a quorum. But
Okay.
I don't get
All right. All I need is someone to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second. Do we have to go down the list of this too?
I'll second.
No.
All right. So Tammy, you did it. And Diane, you there?
She's muted.
He's on mute.
Can't find it.
Diane, could you unmute yourself and
I'll like that. She doesn't know how to do it.
I think we can adjourn. Okay. Thank you. Thank you,
All
everybody.
right. Thanks, everybody.